Hello, Cowboy Nation. My name is Harry James Taylor, and this is the breakdown of the Dallas Cowboys Seattle Seahawks football game that was played in Seattle as the Dallas Cowboys nightmare game was the Seattle Seahawks dream game. With the name of this podcast, YouTube cast, pretty sure that you know the outcome. But just in case you don't, or you want my thoughts, well, they're coming up next, only right here on 1982 Boomer Sooner. All right, it's time to talk about how the Dallas Cowboys nightmare was the Seattle Seahawks dream game in Seattle today. And, it started really, really super early in the first quarter, even actually before this first score happened. Because actually, if you want to talk about the dream team, the dream game for Seattle, it all started when the former Arkansas Razorback and now Dallas Cowboy Felix Jones brought out the kick return from the back of the end zone. Got a pretty decent return, but fumbled the football on the kickoff. Yeah, so, that just explains about how the game started and basically ended for Dallas. It was not a pretty game for the Cowboys. With the fumble happening so early, it set the Seattle Seahawks up in terrific field position. And that's, at the end of it all, that's when Steven Hashuka, the kicker for the Seattle Seahawks, kicked a 21-yard field goal with 11:43 left, making it 3-0 Seattle. The exact next set of plays was 3 and out for the Cowboys. On the fourth down, of course, we all know what fourth down is. It's either a punt or a field goal, unless it's a really short formation, fourth and short. It was a punt situation, and Jerron Johnson blocked the punt with 10:23 left, making it 10-0 Seattle, and it stayed that way through the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Dallas Cowboys finally got some momentum going, including a Tony Romo, Miles Austin 22-yard touchdown pass with 12:09 left, making it 7-10 Seattle. But just under the 2-minute warning, with 1:57 left, they call on Steven Hashuka again with a 25-yard field goal, up and good. 13-7 Seattle at this time. Jump to the third quarter. Quarterback Russell Wilson from Wisconsin hits the wide receiver Anthony McCoy for a 22-yard touchdown pass, making it 20-7 Seattle in the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, Marshawn Lynch, 3-yard touchdown run, making it 23-7 Seattle. End of story. End of ball game. Not an all-time pretty start. 10-0 and a block punt in a short field for Seattle. But Tony Romo did still have 251 yards and a touchdown and an interception in this game. The counterpart, Russell Wilson, the rookie quarterback from Wisconsin, the Badgers, with his new team of Seattle SeaHawks, he had 151 yards, a touchdown, and 0 interceptions. And I should say, as I get to this point about the stats, there were actually no turnovers for the Seahawks. Which, I mean, that just destroyed everything that you try to do. So nothing went right. Not even the turnovers went right for the Cowboys today. Rushing-wise, former University of Oklahoma running back DeMarco Murray had 12 attempts for rushings for 44 yards. On the Seattle half of the court field, Marshawn Lynch had 26 carries. Yards, he had 122 of them. And touchdowns, he had 1. Wide receivers for each side. Miles Austin came back from his preseason injuries, first game injuries. Came back today, 5 catches, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown. Wide receiver for Seattle, Anthony McCoy, came up with 5 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Defensive plays, defensively, defense today was all about Sean Lee. He earned this right here, the star. He earned it. He had 14 total tackles. If there was a star of this game, that's who it was, Sean Lee, for more than one reason. I'll get into that in a second. Cam Chancellor was the defensive player of the game for Seattle with 9 total tackles. Punting-wise, Chris Jones for the Dallas Cowboys didn't do too badly. 5 punts, an average of 45.8. Had the block punt, was a downside. The high side was a 53-yarder. And another high side was 3 punts within the 20-yard line for Chris Jones. Punting on the other side for Seattle, 4 attempts for punts, 53.8 as an average, 68 was his long, and he nailed 2 of them within the 20-yard line. As for kicking, Dan Bailey had an extra point, but that's about it. He was 0 for 0 on regular field goal attempts. However, Steve Hachuka, the kicker for Seattle, was 2 for 2 on his field goals. The playmake of the game by the Dallas Cowboys. Playmaker for Michael Irvin. Playmake of the game, Tony Romo, Miles Austin, 22-yard touchdown pass, making it a 1-score game. 7-10 Cowboys, 12:09 left in the second quarter. As for the defensive play, it was when Marshawn Lynch was stopped at the 2-yard line. He was tackled by Sean Lassimore and DeMarcus Ware. This forced an incomplete pass and a field goal attempt on the opening drive. Ended up being 3-0 with 11:43 left. But the stop was huge because if he's not stopped there, they go in and score, then you're in big trouble and you're already down 7-0. technically you're down 14-0 because of the blocked punt, and then it's a lot worse than what it actually was. Listen, I'm a Cowboy fan, true and true. I love my team. I love them to death. My brother came over and watched the game with me today, which was awesome. I love when he's able to watch games with me. He's not even a football guy. He's not even a football fan. But there's one thing that he knows, and that is on the play to where my defensive player of the game for the Dallas Cowboys, Sean Lee, who had 14 tackles, was basically taken out there in the third quarter. It was on the Russell Wilson, Anthony McCoy drive. Seattle's on their way down. Either that one or in the 3-yard touchdown. I don't remember which one it was. It was pretty late in the game, though. I know that. But Russell Wilson is aiming for a first down. And basically, our player for Dallas, given that he should have done it or not done it, basically, when you're at work or you're at an OU football game or you're at a Dallas football game, and you see this all the time, you're like, hey, good game. And you pat him on the helmet. Well, that's basically what he did. He kind of gave him a big love tap, basically, out of bounds. Dead ball foul, personal foul on Dallas. Now, on the same play, the player of the game, in my opinion, for the Dallas Cowboys, Sean Lee, who had 14 tackles, was going up against Brendan Tate. Now, whether you want to call this an illegal block in the back or not, that's okay. I don't care. Because it either was or it wasn't. In my case, it was not an illegal block in the back. But you cannot go headhunting with your helmet and basically want to take the guy's helmet off. And that's basically what Brendan Tate does. These were, of course, replacement referees. I do not hold the referees accountable for this. As I said, the Dallas Cowboys, now if they would have gotten the stop, they probably would have gotten the ball back and been able to go in for an opportunity to score. Because it would have basically, I think it was 3rd and short, so it was 4th and short, or if it was a first down, it would have been 1st and 25, or 4th and 15. And a half. So basically, either way, you're making it hard on the team to get the first down. But they give them the first down. They call the penalty on Dallas, move the call down to midfield. Or even, like I said, and even if they wanted to call it neutral, dead ball foul, personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, pushing the player out of bounds on the defense, helmet-to-helmet contact on the defense, those penalties will offset first down or 4th and short. I'd be okay with that. But they didn't even take a look at it. They didn't even take a look at the play. With all the head injuries and with all the stuff going on, I expect Brandon Tate to at least get a cell phone call or a text or an email or something from Roger Goodell. This guy is trying to basically stop these kind of injuries, stop these kind of things from happening, and it basically happened again, and the referees let him get away with it. Now, like I said, I don't mind them not calling. I mind them not calling it, but I'm not mad at them for not calling it. Because that's basically what you get if you're a follower of me and you're a Cowboy fan. Or, on the other side of things, if you're college football, that's what you get if you're a Notre Dame fan. You get penalties and you get calls, but then again, there are some non-calls that you don't get, and that's the non-calls that you don't get that the fans are going to be mad about because of this, that, or the other, or because you are the Dallas Cowboys, or in Notre Dame's case, because you are Notre Dame, you deserve each call, and that's just not true. Not going to happen. They are going to miss some calls. They're referees. They're human. But Brendan Tate has to understand Roger Goodell is hammering down with this stuff. He doesn't want it to happen. He doesn't like for it to happen, and he's not going to let it happen. And he's got to understand that that it's going to happen. That he's going to get something. The Seattle Seahawks are probably not going to have Brendan Tate. I would suspect them not to have him for at least a week, if anything, because like I said, Roger Goodell is very strict on this kind of policies. So expect to not have him on the other side of McCoy next week. As far as Dallas is concerned for the next week, you're at home now. You're 1-1. It's not too bad. The conference did okay, I guess. The rest of the other three teams had either a chance to win or did win their games, or were like the Cowboys and down a majority of the game, and they were able to come back. That happened actually in 2 of the games. New York was actually down 14 points to Tampa, and then Philly was down. They ended up scoring a couple late touchdowns, and the other team in the division, Robert Griffin III and the Washington Redskins, Slingin' Sam Bradford of Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma fame, and the wide receiver that used to be at Texas Tech, Danny Amendola, took it on themselves to teach the former Baylor quarterback, Robert Griffin III, a lesson, and did. They said, hey, you don't come in and beat my Sooners and my Raiders and get away with it. We're going to get you. And they basically did. Washington had this for the majority of the game, but Slingin' Sam and Danny Amendola and company came back and won the game late. Hats off to Sam Bradford and the Rams. Congratulations. It was actually Mustache Day there for St. Louis fans. As far as Cowboys are concerned, relax. The Dallas Nightmare, Seattle Dream, over. It's a new week. It's a new day. You get back to work. If you take anything from today's game, let's see, so you had a blocked field goal, or a blocked punt, I'm sorry. So in the third quarter, you led in 2 offensive scoring drives. That's the good thing, is you only let those 2 offensive plays in. But, I mean, the length of those 2 drives was just horrid. Just horrid. Just horrid. And like I said, on one of those drives, they added 15 yards on. The refs did. But like I said, I'm not mad at them for that. It's football. It happens. They're human too. I'll see you guys for the post game of the next Dallas home game. We're finally going to be at home. Everybody have a good week. And you know what? Don't give up on this team. They are still a good team. I love my team, and I'm always going to be a Cowboy.